The yarn of the Loch Achray. John Masefield. The Loch Achray was a clipper tall with 720 hands in all, 20 to hand and reef and haul, a skipper to sail and mates to bull. Ampersand quo. Tally on to the tackle fall, heave now start her, heave Paul. Ampersand quo. Hear the yarn of a sailor, an old yarn learned at sea. Her crew were shipped and they said and quo. Farewell, so long, my toddy, my lovely Jill. We sailed today. If we fetched a hail, it's time we tackled the wheel a spell. Ampersand quo. Hear the yarn of a sailor, an old yarn learned at sea. The dockside loafers talked on the quay the day that she towed down to sea. Ampersand quo. Lord, what a handsome ship she be. Cheer her, sonny boys, 3 times 3. Ampersand quo. And the dockside loafers gave her a shout as the red-funneled tugboat towed her out. They gave her a cheer as the custom is, and the crew yelled and quo. Take our loves to Liz, 3 cheers, bullies, for old Pierhead and the bloody stay-at-homes. Ampersand quo. They said. Hear the yarn of a sailor, an old yarn learned at sea. In the grey of the coming on of night she dropped the tug at the Tusker light, and the topsails went to the topmasthead to a chorus that fairly awoke the dead. She trimmed her yards and slanted south with her royals set and a bone in her mouth. Hear the yarn of a sailor, an old yarn learned at sea. She crossed the line and all went well, they ate, they slept, and they struck the bell. And I give you the gospel truth when I state the crowd didn't find any fault with the mate, but one night off the River Plate. Hear the yarn of a sailor, an old yarn learned at sea. It freshened up till it blew like thunder and burrowed her deep, lee scuppers under. The old man said, Ampersand quo. I mean to hang on till her canvas bus or her sticks are gone and quo. Which the blushing loony did, till at last overboard went her mizzen mast. Hear the yarn of a sailor, an old yarn learned at sea. Then a fierce squall struck the Loch Achray and bowed her down to her waterway. Her main shrouds gave in her forestay, and a green sea carried her wheel away. Ere the watch below had time to dress she was cluttered up in a blushing mess. Hear the yarn of a sailor, an old yarn learned at sea. She couldn't lay to nor yet pay off, and she got swept clean in the bloody trough. Her masts were gone, and a foreyard she filled by the head and down she goed. Her crew made 720 dishes for the big jack sharks and the little fishes, and over their bones the water swishes. Hear the yarn of a sailor, an old yarn learned at sea. The wives and girls they watch in the rain for a ship as won't come home again. Ampersand quo. I reckon it's them headwinds. Ampersand quo. They say, Ampersand quo. She'll be home tomorrow, if not today. I'll just nip home I lay the sheets buy the fixins cook the meats as my man likes my man eats. Ampersand quo. So home they goes by the windy streets, thinking their men are homeward bound with anchors hungry for English ground, and the bloody fun of it is, they're drowned. Hear the yarn of a sailor, an old yarn learned at sea.